Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 48 of my Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So, how have we all been? Let me just sort that light out. That's the best I can do. So, how have we all been? It's been a couple of weeks since the last podcast. Today is actually Tuesday, the 24th of January, and this will go onto YouTube on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. We've got a bit to talk about today. I've got a few finished objects, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. But first of all, I just want to mention the hashtags that we've got going on over on Instagram. So we are running 2 make-alongs at the moment. One is mine and one is Danny's. Mine is the hashtag Test Your Limits Mal. I've had a few questions about this, so I just want to go through it really quickly. It's running till the 1st of June, and all it basically means is just to try something you've not done before. It's just about testing the boundaries a little bit. You don't have to finish a project. And even if it goes wrong and you think, I really hate this, I'm not enjoying it, it's not for me, enter it anyway because you've still tried it. That's all it is. So maybe if you've never tried socks before, you could maybe try and cast on a sock, or you've never tried spinning, or I entered the Stephen West Starflake because I'd never done brioche before. And even if it doesn't work out, still enter it because you've still taken part. Like I say, you don't have to finish your project. That is the cat meowing. 1 second. Sorry about that, Luigi wanted to go out. So yeah, it's just about pushing the boundaries a little bit. That's all it is. Sometimes I think as crafters it's really easy. Sorry, what's going on with my hair there? It's really easy just to do the things that we're used to doing, and it's really good just to try something new. Maybe you're a pro at knitting socks, but you've never tried a heel flap and gusset, or a shadow wrap heel, or an afterthought heel. Give it a go. It's just doing something that you've never done before, that you've maybe been a little bit nervous of. That's all it is. And if you have done that and you want something to relax with, Danny has got you covered there. He's running the hashtag Take It Easy Mal. And the idea behind Danny's Mal is that you just do something that you find relaxing, whatever that may be. Knitting a blanket, crocheting a granny square, knitting on some socks, a hat, mittens, whatever you find relaxing, that's what Danny's make-along is for. So we've got you covered in both ways. And both make-alongs run until the 1st of June. There will be prizes at the end. We'll be drawing prizes from Instagram. The make-alongs will be linked below, and I will also start linking Danny's Instagram below as well. A few of you have asked during the Birthday Bonanza vlogs about that. So Danny's Instagram will be linked down below as well. So they are the 2 make-alongs. Do take part. It's just a little bit of fun. It's just a little bit of fun. That's all it is. So if you want to take part, you need to do that on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram and you want to take part, there is a Facebook group for this podcast, which is linked in the description box below. You can email me your entry. Again, the email address is linked in the description box below. So there are ways to take part if you don't use Instagram. The only reason I don't do it on Ravelry is because I'm not that good at Ravelry. I find it very, very difficult, and I can't create groups. I have joined a few groups on Ravelry, but every time I go to add an entry, it's always a challenge. I can never just think, oh yeah, I know what to do. I've done this before. Every single time I try and add an entry, I find it a challenge. It takes me about half an hour to go through all the clicks that you can press before I can get a picture up. I find it very, very difficult. I use Ravelry a lot for patterns, and I'm really good at adding my projects now. I've even done a Ravelry challenge, them challenge things that they put on at the beginning of the year. So I've chosen a project challenge this year, and I've chosen 40 projects for the year. So every time I finish a project now, I can't wait to add it to Ravelry because it gives me a little check. You are so much % there to your challenge. So yeah, that's why we hold them on Instagram. Wow, that was a mouthful, wasn't it, to start the podcast? What else? So we've got some finished objects, which is what I'm going to start with in a minute. We've got some works in progress. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be doing. I'll be talking about the shop update at the end of the podcast. So if you're not here for the shop update, I'll let you know before I do that, and you can leave then. It's up to you. Wow. We've had a busy couple of weeks. We've done Birthday Bonanza. Oh my word, that was so much fun. A huge, huge thank you to everybody that took part in Birthday Bonanza this year. You made it so, so special. I have never had in my life so many lovely birthday wishes, and it made my day, and Danny's as well. It was just amazing. And a lot of you had said that you were having a birthday during Birthday Bonanza or during January or in February, and it was just nice to be able to wish the happy birthdays back. It was just the most special time. We did lots of giveaway prizes, which will all be shipped tomorrow, except I have one international, which I will contact you about. For those of you that don't know, Royal Mail is our postal service in the UK, and Royal Mail has been subject to a cyber attack. And unfortunately at the moment, well, first of all, it stopped any international postage altogether. And now I think we're able to send letters, literally letters, but nothing else. So we cannot ship internationally at all at the moment in the UK unless it's literally a letter. So I have a prize to go out. I've got a Patreon mini to go out as well, but I can't ship them yet. But I'll contact you about that. So yeah, we had such a blast during Birthday Bonanza. It was just fantastic. It really, really was. Wow. Shall we get into the podcast? So, what was I working on last time? I think I was working on the Starflake, wasn't I? I can't remember where I was on the Starflake, but it is finished and it is here. So this is the Starflake by Stephen West, and this was my entry into the Test Your Limits Mal. I absolutely love this. I have not blocked it. It's not blocked because I don't think it needs it. So I've not blocked it, but oh my god, it's beautiful. The Starflake should be a 2-colour shawl. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I did add 3 colours, and I'm so pleased that I did. I've done brioche. Look at that. I can't see, so I don't... Oh, there we go. I am so pleased with that brioche. I really am. It's something I've always been scared of, the brioche. I have tried it once before. It was last year, and it was a hokey lokey telly shawl, and I kept messing it up and kept messing it up. And I ended up putting it to one side and eventually frogging it. So when it came to trying brioche again, I was like, oh my god, I don't think I can do this. But we all know Stephen West, and he does some fantastic tutorials. So I thought, I will trust him, and I'm going to try it again. And do you know what? I managed it. Is it something I would do again? I don't think so. I enjoy it. I love the look of it. It's super, super squishy, but it's not something I would say I would get excited about knitting. For me, it did take a while because obviously you knit in each row twice. Our house is really busy. There's always a lot going on. And I found that I needed to concentrate such a lot on it. Even with it being 2-colour brioche, I think that made it really easy because it was easy to know which was a brioche and which was a normal stitch. If I'd have done it in 1 colour, I think I'd have really struggled. So it was easier with it being a 2-colour brioche. That's what it looks like on the back. You see, and that's the front. There we go. Yeah, but it's not something that I enjoyed, and it's probably not something that I'd really want to do again. If it was in a project that I really wanted to do and it did call for brioche, then I would do it. But it's not something I think, oh, let's do some brioche. I didn't enjoy it that much, but I love the finished product of it. I really do. This is where I have discovered I am more of a process knitter than a product knitter, because that's the bit. I found that I had to just get on and get it done because I just needed it over. Normally when I'm knitting, I enjoy the process so much And that's what knitting is about for me. So I've done this because I wanted the final product, and once I'd started it and realised I wasn't really enjoying this bit, I wasn't going to pull back. In this Starflake, you can do garter in place of the brioche. If I made the Starflake again, that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't do this again. Like I say, it's not, I didn't enjoy the process of it. That is all. I feel really bad saying that. I feel really, really guilty saying that, but I like to be honest. And there is some mistakes in it. There's a mistake there, you see, right at the start. But in the grand scheme of things, you'd never see it. But, so this is my entry into Mandy's make along, which is the hashtag Starflake, which Mandy is holding over on Instagram. Mandy has the Mouses Makes podcast, and she said, I think she said during October or November, I think it was actually in October, she said she was going to be doing a Starflake make-along, and I got so excited because I'd had the Starflake pattern for ages, tried it once before, used completely the wrong colours and ended up frogging it. So when Mandy said she was holding the Starflake make-along, I got really excited. So this is what it looks like on. Oops. I'm so pleased I've done it. I'd like to make another one, like I say, maybe without the brioche. So that's what it looks like on. You can also, I did the early bind off on this as well. I'll talk about that in a minute when I've just shown you the back. So you can also wear it like an actual shawl. That's how far it'll come. So there are, excuse me, I've got a cough. I don't know why. It's only since I've started podcasting. You could carry on for about another 15 rows here, or you can do the early bind off. I did choose the early bind off because I just felt like it's my wingspan, and when I like a big shawl, I mean, it's slightly bigger than my wingspan. As long as I can get my wingspan, I'm happy. I don't like small shawls. I do like big ones so I can get cosy in them. But yeah, like I say, I've not blocked it because I don't think it needs it. It's perfect as it is. And that is my first finished object. Oh, I just love it so much. So another thing that I was working on the last episode was the Stephen West painting brick socks. Now they are finished. They are here. Was it on the last episode? Yes, it was on the last episode. I got for my birthday off my lovely friend Shelley Stephen West's Year of the Sock ebook. Oh my God, I am so pleased. I have been eyeing up these socks since he showed them on his podcast, and he's been showing them on Instagram as well, and I just love this pattern that he does. I did this pattern in the Winterlight shawl and I love it. So I was itching to cast these socks on, and I am so pleased with them. Now, I have made only one modification. So he does a folded cuff. You don't have to do the folded cuff. So you would do the cuff much longer, you would fold it over and you'd get this gorgeous stretchy folded cuff. I just didn't think that I needed it. So I wanted to do a standard cuff. The pattern is also designed to use up minis. So every time you come to a new brick, you'll change the colour and you'll add a new mini in and you would get the most gorgeous effect of minis. Now, I didn't want to weave in all those ends. I just thought I really like the effect, but I really don't want to weave in all those ends. So I got this yarn for my birthday, this red one. It's beautiful. It's by Attic Spin Dye and it's called Cherry Medley and it's absolutely beautiful. It was a 50-gram skein, which as you can see was more than enough. And I still have, whoops, a daisy. I still have this left. These are actually, the other one fell off. These are the two colours that I used. This is out of my Starflake, which is the yellow that Danny dyed for me, and he called this Mellow Yellow, and I think together they look beautiful. So, put them back in there. This is my current mini basket at the moment. So yeah, that is the only modification that I made was the cuff. I did go up a needle size, and I didn't need to. So, obviously all these bits here are slip stitches. And I was thinking, if I do that on my regular needle size, which is a 2.5, it's only a 60 stitch sock. That's the size that I made. I was worried that they would be too small, so I went up to a 2.75 needle, and I didn't need to. These fit beautifully, but I could have easily gone down a needle size and they'd have just been that little bit tighter. But yeah, they're gorgeous. Now, my favourite part about these socks. You all know that I rave and rave and rave about the shadow wrap heel. Stephen does a garter. It's a heel flap and gusset, which I never do, but I wanted to keep the pattern to the pattern as much as I could. And it's a garter stitch heel flap. Oh my word, this is the comfiest thing ever. So I did do that, and I'm so pleased that I did. So I've got heel flap and gusset with this garter stitch heel flap, and it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I'll be doing that more of them. Because I've got the ebook, the Year of the Sock ebook, I'll be getting a pattern each month, so I am going to make the socks each month, and I'm just going to really enjoy every second of these. The other good thing about this pattern is once you've done the leg and you've got past the heel, you can see there's a lot of colour changes going on. The beginning of round changes to underneath the foot. This is what the underneath of the foot looks like. It's just stripes. And this is where the beginning of round changes to, which I have, maybe there are other patterns that do that. I haven't come across them, and I just think it's an absolute genius idea, because no matter how hard you try when you're doing stripes on a sock, you can always see a bit of a jog. When I'm doing stripes on a sock, what I do is I slip is it the first stitch or the second stitch? I slip the first stitch of every second round of the new colour. Does that make sense? So when I add a new colour, I'll knit a round. When it comes to the second round, I'll slip the first stitch. And that does reduce the jog quite a lot. But no matter how hard you try, you still get a bit of a jog. So the fact that these colour changes happen on the sole of the foot where you'll never see them is just amazing. So I'm going to make some more of these. I want to do it with maybe some self-striping yarn or some heavily variegated yarn, and just do the same thing. I'm not sure I'd do it with all the minis. That amount of colour changes I think would drive me mad. You know how I feel about ends in my projects. I just think that would drive me bonkers. But they're amazing. So I'm going to put these on today. I have kept them. I finished them last night. So I kept them for the podcast. I've got no socks on my feet. My feet are freezing because I thought, no, I'm wearing these today. I cannot wait. So as soon as I finish this podcast, I'm popping these on my feet. Oops. And now I'm dropping them on the floor. So that is that. And we do have one more finished object. Oh my word, I know. I can't believe this. So I was having patron Zoom last week. No, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. It was during Birthday Bonanza. It was the day after my birthday. Now, for those of you that watched Vlogmas, if you didn't watch Vlogmas, you won't know this. Amy from Happy Little Yarn, who I absolutely love. I will link her channel below. So I was watching Amy from Happy Little Yarn, and she said she was going to hold a make-along for Vlogmas for a pair of leggings. I was like, oh my God. I was straight in there. I got really excited about this. So Amy, I have just, for this next pattern, this one is all on Amy from Happy Little Yarn because it was just the best idea ever. I would never ever have considered knitting a pair of leggings, but when I saw, she gave like some inspiration pictures and I was like, oh my God, I need some of those in my life. So I got really excited. I did get a pattern. It was a Drops Design pattern. It was a free pattern online. And if you watch the vlogs during Vlogmas, you know I had no end of trouble. They just didn't fit. And I kept going down and down and down and down on the sizes till I got to the smallest size. And they just didn't fit. I was so disappointed. I really was, because I'd really got myself geared up to make some advent pants and they didn't fit. So we had patron Zoom 2 weeks ago. It was a day after my birthday, and one of the lovely ladies had said, have you seen the 72 Stitches YouTube channel? She's making some Stephen West leggings. And I was like, no, Stephen West are DK, and I wanted some 4-ply ones. And she goes, no, Alex, I think these are 4-ply. So I hopped on over, and lo and behold, there is a Stephen West pattern for some leggings. They are called the Fancy Pantsy, which I think I've just taken the pattern upstairs. I'll have to put a picture on the screen here. I got so excited. So I'm sitting on this Zoom with the ladies, and I think I was driving them all mad because I was just on Ravelry looking at all the different projects. I got so excited. And my lovely friend Caroline said, do you want to go and check your Ravelry? So I went, right, okay. So I went to check Ravelry, and she bought me a birthday present, and it was the Fancy Pantsy pants by Stephen West. Honestly, I was blown away. So I thought, oh my God, I was so pleased. So I cast these on the very next day. So I've cast them on the 11th of January, I think it was. I didn't do a swatch to start with not because I was trying to be anti-swatching. I had a good idea of how many stitches I needed because I'd had so many mistakes with the first pants. So I did go down a size on, I best get them out, aren't I? On the, yeah, they are finished, I know. I did go down a size on the pattern, and I cast them on. Oh my God, I am beyond pleased. I finished these. I could not put them down. This is them. So it is a full-size pair of leggings. And like I said, the pattern is by Stephen West. I use the recommended needles. I'd been watching the 72 Stitches podcast. I can't remember her name. I'm really sorry. She's made them a slightly different version. She's made them wider legged. I will link her channel below, and I feel really bad that your name has gone completely out of my head. I am so sorry. But her version is just amazing. Like I say, a wider leg at the bottom and absolutely beautiful. So I will link her podcast down below as well. So, oh my God, I will put a picture on the screen here of me wearing them. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you've probably not seen this. So they fit there. I blocked them. I had some questions on Instagram, so I wanted to make sure I could answer them all here. So the first question was, how did they block? When I made them, obviously you can see they're really scrappy. I've got all of my favourite yarns in here. I made them slightly shorter, maybe an inch shorter than I needed them, because I did suspect with them being superwash, it's 4-ply superwash, that they would stretch. They did stretch. If they hadn't have stretched, it wouldn't have mattered because I was perfectly happy with the length. But once I blocked them, they did stretch, and they've grown by an inch. They come exactly down to my ankles. I knew that would happen, especially with a couple of these yarns. I think this one had been in a project, and I'd unravelled it, so it was very crinkly. And there was another one that had been in a project. So I knew that would give some stretch, and it did. The waistband, when you cast on, calls for 6 inches of ribbon. It's 2x2 ribbon, and it calls for 6 inches. So I'd been watching the 72 Stitches podcast, and she'd said that she felt that the 6 inches of ribbon was just too much. So I took her advice and I just did it to 5 inches. I did suspect, obviously that's not 5 inches of ribbon, I did suspect that I would need to put some kind of reinforcement in the waistband. Now, they did fit, but they weren't tight. So I wore them, I finished them on Sunday, and I wore them for the rest of Sunday because I wanted to see how that waistband would react. And they didn't fall down, but they were loose. So they did definitely need some elastic. This has now got elastic in the waistband. So with the 5 inches of ribbon I did, it was enough to fold over, and you can see I've just done a really quick stitch. It's folded over and there is elastic in the waistband. It's just some inch wide elastic that has made all the difference. The fit, I wanted them tight initially, so they were more like leggings than pants. And I thought, if they're too big, I'll cinch them in at the bottom and have like yoga style pants. But what I did do is I measured every point on my leg. So I was going for 2 inch of negative ease. I had 7 stitches per inch on the needles I was using. So I measured the top of my thigh, which was here, above my knee, which is here, below my knee, the widest point of my calf, and then right down to my ankle. And I did decrease accordingly. So I didn't follow the pattern decreases at all, really, because I wanted them more custom to fit my legs. So they are a very snug fit all the way down with the 2 inches of negative ease. I did change the cuff. I think, I can't remember what the pattern called for for the cuff. I think it was like knits and pearls or something like that. I did want ribbing on the ankle. 72 stitches. She did an I-cord bind off, which looks so amazing, and she did a 2-colour I-cord bind off, which looks fab. So an I-cord bind off is a brilliant option. I wanted ribbing, so I did ribbing, and I think I did 25 rounds of ribbing, and then I did a sewn bind off just so I've got plenty of stretch to get it over my foot, but it doesn't flare out too much. The other modification I made was the short rows. So you can see, if you look at the black stripe here, and then the black stripe on the back, you can see there's quite a bit of short row shaping in there, which are just here. The pattern calls for this to be double the amount of short row shaping that it is. And I didn't feel, I have quite a flat butt. So I didn't think I needed that amount of short row shaping, although I obviously needed some. So I halved it, and I was a little bit nervous. I couldn't properly try these on until I'd split for the legs. I could try them on, but I wouldn't really get the true effect of them. So until I split for the legs, which was here, I had no idea whether I'd made a mistake. I was prepared to frog back if I had. So I halved the amount of short row shaping, and I got it just right, which was nothing to do with me. It was pure luck. I just thought, I do have a flat butt and I don't need that much short row shaping in it, and it works perfectly. So that was sheer luck that worked. I wove in all the ends as I went, and I did keep the legs matching, apart from, I think it's this stripe. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think it's the orange stripe. I ran out of yarn 2 rounds early, so they're not quite matching, but you can't tell when they're on. But other than that, they're all matching. This is Danny's hat. This is the blue suede colourway, which is in Danny's hat, which is beautiful. This yarn I won from Denise at Day Designs for last year's sock along, which is gorgeous. My friend Shelley bought me this yarn at Yarndale. It is beautiful. It was a mystery yarn, so that had to go in. This is some of the fade yarn that's gone into the update that we've just done. It's what I had left from the socks. This is Danny's grey colourway, which I just love, and he has to keep me in constant supply of this colourway because it's my favourite. And I've got some Advent minis in there. These 2 are both Advent minis. That one's an Advent mini. The blue is this from my Starflake. So that had to be in there as well. So I've just got all of my favourite yarns in there. That's the back, that's the front. And I'm beyond pleased. So if you are on the fence about knitting a pair of Advent leggings, I cannot recommend this pattern enough. It was so easy to modify. Like I say, once you've got your gauge, I knew I was 7 stitches per inch. I knew how much negative ease I'd need. So I was able to modify the pattern all the way down. I did knit the legs both at the same time because I thought if I knit one leg, and then I can't remember quite what I've done on the decreases, it's easier to knit them both at the same time. So what I would do is knit the orange on one leg and then the orange on the second leg. So if I've made any quick decreases, if I've needed to, it was fresh in my mind just to do it again. So I knit them at the same time, so I didn't leave it a few hours in between. I made sure if I was sitting down to knit, I did all of one colour at the same time. That's probably why they were finished so quick, because I wanted it fresh in my mind for the decreases that I'd done, because I'd done a lot of decreases in there at different points, getting it to where I needed it to be on my legs. But yeah, if you're on the fence about a pair of advent pants or scrappy pants, then I cannot recommend this pattern enough. It has gone into Alice from Socksy Nana Alice podcast, into her make along, which is the hashtag Socksy Scrappy Mal, I think it is. So I've entered it into her hashtag, and I'm just so pleased. They were a brilliant, brilliant pattern to make. They really were. They are beyond comfortable. Super, super comfortable. And yeah, that is it for finished objects. Half an hour in. Wow, that was a lot. So, let me just have a sip of coffee. We'll move on to works in progress. I did talk about on the last episode the bubble cardigan by Stephen West that I want to make. I have since got the colours sorted for that, and I know what I'm doing, but I'm not casting it on yet. I was going to after I'd finished the advent pants, but I've got a lot of smaller projects that I just want to work on. I've done a lot of big projects over the past few months. I did the Stephen West MCAL, and then I made the anthology throw, and then I made the Ariana cardigan, and then I made the Starflake, and then I made the pants. So I just feel like I've done so many big projects. I want to go around and do a sweep of the smaller ones. I've got a few socks kicking around that need finishing, the library socks being one of them. And I've got a secret project that I'm working on, which I can't share just yet, but I will in June. It'll be a while before you'll know what that is. So there is a secret project that I'm working on, and I just want to get some smaller projects off the needles. I've got some scrappy projects on the go that I just want to make some progress on. I feel this year I'm not having a lot of big projects on the go. Last year I got so overwhelmed. I know I talked about this on the last episode, but I got so overwhelmed with the amount of projects I had on the needles at certain points throughout the year. And because there was so much and it was weighing on my mind all the time, it actually stopped me from doing other things. And I just think I like lots of crafts, and I don't want to just feel like I've got to get all these projects done because I've cast on far too many projects, which does worry me a little bit about the podcast, because if I've only ever got one project on the go for, say, a month, what content I'm going to have, but we'll figure that out when we come to it. I've really enjoyed just concentrating on one project at a time. So when I did the Stephen West Starflake, that's all I worked on, and it was just nice. I didn't feel that overwhelming pressure where I've got to work on this and I've got to work on this and I've got to work on this. And it was the same with the scrappy pants. It's all I worked on, so I didn't have any other pressure for anything else. That was an easy pattern, so it was easy to pick up and put down as well. Maybe if I've got a complicated pattern on the go, it'll be a little bit different, because there'll be times during the day that I can't pick that up if I've got to concentrate too hard. But yeah, that's my new thing this year, is just not to overwhelm myself with so many projects. Last year, my crochet suffered. I always say crochet is my first love. I don't think I did hardly any last year, because I had so many knitting projects on the go that I couldn't keep up. There was just so much to do all of the time that I just couldn't keep up, and I'm going to be really strict with myself this year about that. I want to work on what I want to work on. If I start a project and it doesn't bring me joy, then I will frog it, which I've normally been quite good at doing anyway. Normally, if I don't like something, I'll just frog it. I won't sort of force myself to work on it. But yeah, I'm just going to be more strict this year. So for the next couple of weeks, I don't want to be casting on anything else, unless it's a small project that I really want. If the new Stephen West sock comes out, I'll probably cast that on. And I've got Denise's make along that I want to cast on for, which is the hashtag year of the sock 2023. I've missed January, so I do want to make sure I get February in. So I will be casting another pair of socks on for that. But I want to do just a sweep and just concentrate on some of the smaller projects. So I'm really excited about my whips over the next couple of weeks. Let's start on those. I have the library socks. I've shown these so many times. I cast them on in October. Let me grab a sock blocker. They've had no love whatsoever. So this is the first project that's going to get some attention. The yarn is absolutely beautiful. Excuse the stitch markers, they're my decreases. The first sock is done. The second sock had this much on it. It was literally just the rib. So that is the first sock. It's the library sock pattern, which I've got in the bag. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a fantastic sock pattern. It really is. I've talked about it so many times. This is the pattern. It's beautiful. It's such an easy pattern to do, but you still get a little bit of interest with it as well. It feels very much like vanilla knitting, although it's not. And the yarn is a James C. Brett. Is it Funny Feet? It is. It is James C. Brett Funny Feet, and it's shade FZB14. It's a gorgeous yarn, it really is. And these have been sitting unloved in a project bag for so long. They've been in this project bag, which I got from Yarndale. So I've started giving the second sock some love. It had been sitting with just the rib. So I've picked it up this morning. I've been working on it this morning. I'm going to have this finished. So that's the first project that I want to get finished. And I feel really excited about my whips again, which I haven't been excited about the whips in so long because I've been so overwhelmed with so many big projects. So I'm just going to enjoy doing a little sweep. So that's the first project that's going to get some attention. The second project, which has had some love over the past couple of days, is my C2C. Now, this is another scrappy project. It's a long-term project, so I'm not expecting to finish it anytime soon. If I do a square a day, I'll be happy. If I do 4 squares a week, I'll be happy. This is the right side. So this is the corner to corner, join as you go, C2C. I've made one of these before. If you're not familiar with this method of crochet, I do have a tutorial for this. If you go to the playlists and onto tutorials, there is a tutorial for this. It's all 4-ply and it's made with 10-gram minis. So I'll show you one that's a bit easier to see, this one. It's 10 blocks by 10 blocks and it's just a 10-gram mini. I'm using, what hook am I using? A 3mm hook. And all you basically do with this is, I went right in my mouth. You join your yarn here, you'll crochet across here and it's joining it to the next block as you go and you'll end up with another block here. So it's really easy to do. As long as you keep up with your ends as you're doing it, which as you can see I am doing, as long as you keep up with your ends, it doesn't become overwhelming, and each square takes about 20 minutes. So it's a really good one to do if you've got just a little bit of time, you want to do one in your lunch hour, or tea's cooking and you want to put a square in. It's a really good project to do. This at the moment is 10 blocks wide and I'm going to do it either 12 or 14 blocks high, so it's a really good size. The last one I did was 10 blocks by 8 blocks, which was just a tad small, so I want this one a bit bigger. But it's a fantastic project and I'm just enjoying picking this up again. It's not had any love apart from this week since December. And it's great, like I say, just for using up some 10-gram minis or some scraps or whatever you want. It's a fantastic project. Similar in sort of style to the Cozy Memories, I suppose, in knitting. It's a similar sort of thing. You could make these bigger if you wanted. You could make the squares bigger if you're doing DK version, or you just wanted the squares bigger. You'll get like a really nice patchwork style blanket, or yeah, blanket when you're done. It's really lovely. So that is my second whip. And I have one more whip. I'm also taking part in Judy's make along from Judy from the Witch Piece Craft podcast. She's holding a really cool make along actually. It's called #YarnAdventuresAU, and basically she's going to give a destination out twice a month, and you've got to knit a blanket, a lapgan, or a snake using the destinations that she's given. So I'm doing a temperature style blanket. I've started my first one. 4mm hook. I can't get my words out. And it's just some DK weight yarn. So the first destination was Lancashire. And it was right at the beginning of New Year and the temperature was quite cold. So I've got my temperatures written down. I'll show you. I do have a notebook this year. This is one of mine. I designed these. There's some more of these going into the shop. I've got Denise's make along there. There we go. So these are the temperatures. So my first one is this one. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a row of 3 squares by 4, which would give me 12, and I'm going to join them all together. So I want to make the granny squares quite big. So this one's going to get finished today, and then I've got my next colour. We went to Ireland. I haven't got exactly the right colour, so I'm having to fudge it a little bit, but that's my next colour for the next destination that we did. And I'm just doing a granny square blanket. I did start doing a snake. Was it a snake? Yes, it was a snake. I started to do a snake, but I ran out of toy stuffing, and then I was getting really behind because I haven't had a chance to go to Hobbycraft and pick up any toy stuffing yet. So I thought I'm just going to do a granny square blanket. I had an itching for a granny square blanket anyway, so I thought I'll do this. So that is my entry into Judy's make along so far. So I'm really excited about that as well. And I think that might be everything for the knitting content. Oh, I don't have any plans to cast on anything else apart from, like I say, the Stephen West sock.
Lies.
Why are you saying lies? That's Danny. I don't. I don't know what date the new pattern comes out for the Stephen West sock. But I do need to cast that on. I've also got some socks to knit for a gift as well, which I need to do. But other than that, I don't have any plans to cast anything else on. So I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, so life updates. Nothing major has been going on. We had Birthday Bonanza, which finished a week yesterday. That finished. That was, I said at the start, that was so much fun. We had an absolute blast doing that. It was a lot of fun. It was very, very busy. I think because I'd just come off Vlogmas and then doing the vlogs again. It was just a lot of work, but totally worth it. We do enjoy doing the vlogs so much. We do have a Facebook page as well for the podcast. If you want to go and join that, that's all linked below. There's Patreon link below, Facebook, Instagram. I've got good now about putting Danny's Instagram underneath as well. I think I might have mentioned that at the start of the episode. So that only leaves us the shop update to talk about. So if you're only here for the knitting content, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. And if you are still here for the shop update, then yay! There's not a great deal, there's nothing to show you because we're not showing anything at all until a couple of days beforehand. We've just had the shop update on the 9th of January, so we didn't want to do a big update. So there's none of the fade yarn going into this update and there's none of the accessories going into this update because it's only been sort of 3 weeks since the last update. But we are doing something special. We are doing a Yarny Corner Memories update. So there'll be no new yarns coming in. Well, they are new, but they are only yarns that we've already done. So some of our favourite yarns from over the past 2 years will be making a comeback for the Yarny Corner, my Yarny Corner Memories update. It's not going to be a huge update, like I said, just because it's not been that long since the last shop update, so I don't want to bombard you with more yarn.
One of the lovely patrons asked us to do it.
Yeah, one of our lovely patrons asked us to do an old colourway, and I had so much fun doing it. I really did. I had an absolute blast. It was Party Poppers. I'm not going to put that one in because I've done it for a patron and she asked for it specially, so I'm not going to bring that into the update because it is just for her. But she asked for the Party Poppers colourway. I had an absolute blast recreating it, and I said to Danny, why don't we recreate some of the old colourways? And he said, that's a really good idea. Let's do it. So there's nothing to show you at the moment. We're not showing it yet, not until a couple of days beforehand, and there will be some old colourways coming back. I will tell you that Hopeful Snowman is coming back purely and simply because we've had no snow, and I think we should have had snow by now. We've had nothing, absolutely nothing. We got the lightest of flurries a couple of weeks ago, and that was it. I am beyond disappointed we've had no snow. So that's the first reason it's coming back, just to try and get that snow coming. The second reason is one of the lovely people, I won't say the name on here, but somebody did put a picture using the Hopeful Snowman yarn on the Facebook page, and I just thought it looked lovely. So Hopeful Snowman is the only one that I'm going to give you a sneaky idea on that's coming back, but there are some lovely colourways coming back. So that's what we're going to do for the next update. The next update is on the 6th of March. Like I say, it's just going to be a small update just because it's only been about 3 weeks since the last one. We didn't want to miss the update. And then the bigger update will be on the 1st of March. So it's just a little update, but it's going to be fun. Danny's just sitting here. That's why I'm looking that way.
Oh, hi.
No one can see you.
I get you. See my voice. Hi everyone.
He is here.
Don't forget 1st of March, Advent coming.
Yes, the Advents. I did forget about that. Whoops. On the 1st of March, we'll be opening up the Advents again for this year. Danny said to me over the past week, don't forget to mention the Advents, Alex. I'm like, no. Don't forget to mention the Advents. I won't forget. And he's had to come and tell me now. So on the 1st of March, which is the next bigger update, the next proper update that we're having, the Advents will be coming back. Sorry if you can hear that washing machine. I'll have to just pause that. Hang on. That's better. So the 1st of March, the Advents will be open again. We're doing it slightly different this year than how we did it last year. So last year what we did was we put the Advents on sale each month on Etsy. It's £15 a month, and that's for 3 days worth of Advent. So it's a really good way to purchase your Advent calendar. They are 20 gram minis. You will get 3 days worth each month. Well, that's what you'd be paying for. So last year we sent them out each month. This year, after talking with patrons and getting some feedback from that, we've decided that we won't send them out individually. We're going to wait and send them all out in one go. That way we can present them nicely in a box and you're not having to store them for months on end as well. We'll store them for you. So it's going to be the same way. They've gone up slightly because of yarn price increases, but only by 50p. We've still kept it as low as we can. So the first month will be £15.50. Obviously there's no postage on that because we're not sending them out. It'll run for 8 months. So you'll pay each month £15.50, and that's for 3 days worth of Advent. So at the end of that 8-month period, you'll have paid for your entire Advent. On the last order, on month 8, there will be, I'm going to charge £4.95 postage because it's going to be a bigger box. And they're going to go, I'm saying £4.95 at the moment. That could change if we get any increase in prices. It won't change massively. It might be £5.15 or something. It'd just be a small amount if that changed. But they all go signed for. We had so many Advents go missing this time, and there were so many that we had to replace that I don't want to take that chance with an entire Advent. So they must go tracked and signed for. So You're still saving money on the postage. The postage last year was £1.85 each month, which worked out about £12. So you're saving money on the postage because we're not sending it out each month. They will come nicely presented in a lovely box, and there is an option to purchase a main skein. So the advent will finish the 1st of October. The 1st of November there will be an option to purchase a main skein. If you would like it, you don't have to obviously get it. You don't have to buy the entire advent. You could maybe, if you only wanted a 12-day advent, or maybe you only wanted a 6-day advent. I know Dawn last year did a 12-day advent and she was really, really pleased with it. She just got the first 12 and she was really pleased with it. So yeah, you can purchase as many as you want. We'll obviously have a running total on the website of who's ordered what. So it's really easy for us to keep track. And yeah, they will be sent out mid-November. That starts on the 1st of March. So there'll be 8 months of the £15.50. The final month will have postage on it. And then there's an option to purchase a main skein if you would like as well. I'm so excited. I can't believe we're at Advent time again. It's great. And I think that is everything. I've been talking for 50 minutes. So I'm going to let you all go. It's been so lovely to come back and catch up. Make sure I'm accountable for no more cast-ons. I will not be casting on the bubble cardigan yet. I am going to keep to what I've said and do a whip sweep first. Under my table in the lounge is where I keep all the project bags. And it's been really overwhelming. Last year it was just filled with project bags. Right now there's hardly anything under there. It feels so nice. I don't get that overwhelming feeling when I look at the table anymore. So it's something I really want to keep up with. So I'm going to try my hardest to be good and not be distracted by a shiny new cast on, because I know how easy it is to do. There was something else I was going to talk about. I can't remember what it was. As I said that then, I thought, I'm sure there was something else I had to talk about. I don't know what that was. Anyway, I'm still waffling, so I'm going to go. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Bye.